Peace reflections. Eon. Tapping in. So real quick, right? I just want to spellcast this out into the realm. Mainly so as to remove the energy from my aura and my soul and my mind. Because I feel like they just tried to send this energy into my being to get me to question the divine order. Like this is how it started with Zeus to begin with. He started to question listening to Mother Universe. He started questioning. Picture like for example Doctor Strange, right? The main villain in Doctor Strange, he started questioning the teacher, and he was getting whispers from that evil entity. And then the evil entity possessed him and used him and convinced him that he was going to give him all this power and that they thought they were doing the right thing. Like they were acting in an evil way, but this is truly what is meant when people say there's no such thing as good or evil, it's only duality. The evil people think they're doing the good thing. 99% of them would not be doing the evil thing if they were not self-righteous and possessed with the illusionary idea that their way is the right way. For example, I used this example when I was talking to someone else, right? I was like, Hitler and the Nazis were generally convinced, especially the Nazis. Maybe Hitler knew he was just using that shit just to get off, and he was just using that as a ploy, and really he just wanted the power. But at least a lot of the regular people, the regular so-called Nazis, the mass majority of them genuinely thought they were doing a good thing. Just like us, right? When we go to war in the Middle East, not us, but America. See, we need to stop identifying with this country and with other people who do. Like we be identifying with the rich elite at the top, like because they call themselves American too. We be thinking they us, bro. They is not us. Trust me. And they show you that with how they avoid society and being around any of the normal, regular people in any type of way. They got names for us and everything. You feel me? And they see themselves as like the super elite, rich, royal, like, how dare not be around those peasants? Had that shit, like, you feel me? But like, we be thinking they with us, but really they not. We not with them. We us. We us. Are we going out there killing all those people and shit in the Middle East and warring in Iraq and shit? Even though the map don't look how it look, but still, and you know they killing carbonated beings. They make it seem like they out there warring with Iraqis. Nah, they really out there killing carbonated beings because you need to understand there's carbonated beings everywhere, all over the landmass. And this is where they get their little variants of their human beings too, because the white man is Zeus's greatest creation, right? Of the human being species made in our image, the image of the gods, so-called blacks, Latinos that were classified as nowadays descendants of these giant extraterrestrial race of gods called Anunnaki, cosmic source manifests into a physical avatar, into a species. You feel me? Because we're all gods. We're all I. So when the first I manifested itself, it became more of itself within the whole species of I. So it's like we're all one hive mind, but at the same time we're all unique and we're all individuals. So we all literally have free will, but are a hive mind interconnected within being one at the same time. That's my species, so-called blacks, Latinos. In our higher state, we're in the cosmos, we're Anunnaki gods. It's just on this planet, we found frequency. On this planet, we're disconnected from the cosmos. We just gotta reconnect, re-raise our frequency. But down here, we're classified as blacks, Latinos, and all this other shit, right? And you know, these white people, these human beings, they were made in our image by our fallen brother, Zeus, who turned against Source. He is the real Satan. His other nickname is Satan. And so, you feel me? I would think they're a goddess. I just assume they're a goddess, but you never know. It could either be a fallen goddess or someone who isn't really tapped in like they appear to be, or someone who doesn't even really believe they're a goddess like that. So I say goddess, but that's pushing that because she's a so-called black woman, right? That I was speaking to. And I'm not about to identify any of the specifics of this because I don't want any energy directly pinpoint. I don't want any of I messed up my words. I don't want any of this energy directly pinned towards this person or any of this energy to seem like it's going to attack this person. No, I'm just speaking raw and I'm calling out the real events happening in my life that I'm really going through. And so with that being said, someone I was talking to, someone I thought was a goddess, who I would still assume they're a goddess, but If they show otherwise than word, they're not really a goddess, you feel me? Especially if they don't even believe or resonate with that frequency, you feel me? If you don't believe, or it's not even about belief, it's the truth, right? But if you're not tapped into the truth of our species of being Anunnaki gods, and you don't believe you're a goddess, then thus you shall be, not a goddess, you feel me? Because we are what we believe as souls, powerful ancient beings. Our belief manifests over reality and changes it. Even if something is how it is now, if we fully believe a different version of that, then it will slowly change to match what we truly believe in the core of our soul as so-called Blacks, Latinos, right? And this is why it's so powerful when we say we're full of carbon and everything around us is made of carbon. It's breaking down on a scientific level how everything is you and comes from you. This is all divine science if you start to really tap in. Like what my species are, Blacks, Latinos, having carbon in their skin, being full of ether, being full of all these chemicals and all these higher evolutionary things, tuned in with all the like energies of life around us, all these elemental forces, these atoms, particles, different forms of energy. Like science, when you start to really tune in, is talking a lot about everything we're tuned into. You just gotta, a lot of us don't look into science, that's all it is. But if you start to really look into science, all this is going to start making a lot more sense too. But within that being said, this person I was talking to, this goddess, out of nowhere, right? I was saying, fuck this man-made money, and I called it satanic. I was like, fuck this man-made, worthless, satanic blood money. And I use all those words with intent. Man-made because it's created by this white man and has no value, so it's worthless. It's not real currency. The real energy is your attention, your life force. Like that's the real energy that creates things and manifests things and brings things to life. Your life force, the real currency, the real current flowing through one thing to the next. Currency, get it? It's a current of energy flowing, and that's your attention and your life force. Money just is used to navigate where we put our attention to. So they use money to get us to give attention to the things we're buying money with, or that, for example, if someone has a bunch of money, we're under a spell to be like, ooh, and give that person our attention. You know what I'm saying? But within that being said, money itself is, above all that, satanic. I say satanic because, one, it's evil witchcraft. It's blood money, right? It's covered in our blood, right? It's covered in so much body. Like, there's so many bodies tied to the dollar. Like, I'm talking like all the extraction and horrible shit going on all across the world where they're raping the resources to keep this system and this monetary money going, to keep us all distracted, right? Everything they're doing to keep the system going is because they're scared as fuck for the moment of us to ever look away from the distractions and see what's going on. So they just keep pumping out all this bullshit in the matrix, hoping we all stay glued to it. And hoping we never pick up on what's going on in the realm. But if you look all around the realm, especially outside of these developed countries like America and where all the extracted resources are going to build up Babylon, because if you notice, the rest of the realm be in poverty, but it has all the resources. Isn't that backwards? Everywhere else on the planet has all the resources, but they don't let the people ever find out their own wealth and use it for themselves. They go to those lands, enslave our carbonated family on those parts of the lands, and then they make them, mine and work and slave. Literally slavery. It's still slavery going on. It never went away. It's even way bigger now. And they got them slaving for these resources, and then you see all those resources go to pump up their HQ, to pump up their empires. You feel me? In all these developed countries and nations like America and Babylon, just Babylon as a whole, the UK, France, Europe, you feel me? All these developed nations where they're setting up at and where their headquarters was at. You feel I? But it's like all the wealth is there in the land. So that they got the people on those lands where the wealth is living in poverty, thinking they're not worth anything, thinking that they need to slave and become a part of this system to ever get anywhere. Meanwhile, they got all the wealth underneath their feet. You feel I? So with that being said, the god of this matrix, the god of this system, is Zeus, Satan. You feel me? That's the entity these beings are praying